Chapter 25. Adapting through the process. You have read and understood the steps to my weight loss formula. Executing the formula with consistency will only guide you in the right direction. The formula is your navigational system to reach your destination. Have you ever gone on a road trip for vacation or to visit family? Throughout the journey, you may encounter unexpected road bumps. You may have to take detours because of blocked roads due to construction. During the traveling process, it is possible to get a flat tire. The road travel has curves, hills, dips, and rough, uneven pavement. Halfway through your trip, you find traffic to be backed up for miles, costing you hours and putting you way behind schedule. The navigational system never points out these encounters when pulling up the directions, right? Everything you run across during your drive is just part of the process that comes with finally reaching your destination. When we experience these setbacks, we don't turn around and go back home. We keep moving in the right direction until the voice of our navigational system states we have arrived. This is the approach you must take, both when starting and continuing on your own fitness journey. Through all my years of being on this earth, I have never heard someone say, I want to get in shape, but I need my schedule to never change, workouts to always be fun and easy, nutrition, food to taste as good as unhealthy food, be able to only exercise outside during perfect weather, and begin my journey with no disruptions. We start off by stating we want to hit our goals and that we are ready for change. To achieve anything that is new and requires learning, understand you will have good days and bad days. You will experience growing pains and tough times. It's just part of the process. The worst thing you could do during your journey is to turn around. Giving up on your journey will never get you closer to your goals. Traveling on your road trip and turning around because it requires a detour will never get you closer to your destination. Yes, the process may suck at times, and yes, there will be times you want to quit. I'll be lying to you if I said I never want to quit during the process of losing weight. Imagine your journey as an annoying and uncomfortable bumpy road. We have already made up our mind that turnaround is not an option. We tend to act more on our feelings, emotions, rather than logic. Hence, why we do things we feel like doing instead of things we know we should be doing. This concept is very similar to our approach when starting our fitness journey. Have you ever prolonged your start date because the feeling of pain enters your mind? Do you experience the feeling of pain because you attempt to lose weight and failed every time? For example, you may have chosen a meal plan or meal replacement shake system that worked for a friend or family member. After following a strategy for a few days, you find yourself not fascinated with their plan. You may have purchased a fitness video you observe on television, but the exercises painfully bother your knees and back. One thing I learned through my own weight loss experience and witnessing so many others is that we all have different tastes in what we enjoy or dislike. We all adapt differently when confronted with adversity, and that's what makes us all unique. Not everyone likes the same things, but you have to find a routine that you do enjoy. One thing we all share are the feelings of pleasure and pain. Pain and pleasure. As humans, we enjoy activities that bring us feelings of pleasure and joy. The activity alone does not create these particular feelings. Our experience during the activity creates a feeling of pleasure. Think about a sport, video game, television show, movie, or any activity you enjoy. During the activity, you experience the emotion of joy, and because of that experience, you create a habit of repeating the activity over and over again. You are confident knowing you experience emotions of pleasure when actively performing this activity. You seldom procrastinate performing this task. Now let's think about activity that carries a feeling of pain. It may be going to a job you hate, cleaning your house, or seeing certain family members you don't get along with. One activity I always pushed away from and brought me pain was the act of ironing my school clothes. My mother forced me to iron all my uniform school clothes every Sunday at a young age. I had to iron 5 shirts and 5 pants. This process took me an hour and I disliked every minute of it. Every Sunday I procrastinated and looked for distractions until my mother threatened me to iron my clothes before she put me on punishment. Understand that ironing itself is not painful, but my experience during the whole ironing process was very painful. You might not experience pain when ironing, so we may not share the same feeling with that certain activity. It is the same as if I enjoy running and experience pleasure. You may hate running and experience pain throughout the activity. It is important that you find a process that contains a proven system to follow. It is more important to find a proven system that does not spark a dreadful feeling. For example, I witness women that can walk on a treadmill for hours and enjoy every minute of it. If that was the only way I was told I had to lose weight, I know for sure I would have quit after the first day. Everyone states the phrase, "I want to make a lifestyle change." You must understand that the lifestyle must not only provide you with a change, it must also provide you with a change that offers enjoyment to you. It's important to practice a gratifying process that you can transform into lifelong habits. On your weight loss journey, it is essential to explore different styles of exercise and food options you enjoy, or at least options that do not feel dreadful. If you don't like running, then don't run. If you don't like eating salads, then don't eat salads. Exploring new and alternative activities during the process is a secret to sustain the feeling of excitement and pleasure. Pleasure through nutrition. Experiencing pleasure through nutrition for many is eating a big piece of cheesecake or having anything fried. Food feels like a drug to so many people because of the feeling we receive during every bite. I truly believe food is actually more addictive than drugs because food is offered everywhere you go on earth. If you want drugs, you got to find a drug dealer or a drug-infested neighborhood. We do not have to search far or long for food because it is in front of our face every day. There are food commercials, fast food restaurants on almost every corner, and food billboards on a highway enticing us to get off at the exit. It seems like there are new dollar menus every week encourage us to buy these pleasurable foods we know that are not healthy for our bodies. I understand the struggle to say no to these pleasures. One of the common problems I hear from people I coach is that they are bored and get burnt out with eating the food they cook. Once they reach this point, they start to fall into a deep, miserable state and begin dreading eating the meals they prepped. After days or weeks of these terrible feelings, they start to break their healthy eating habits. They begin to insert the pleasurable, unhealthy foods back in their diet. Once they begin to fall in love with the feeling of pleasure with their fried foods or fast food choices, they quit their journey. One of the old sayings is, you will only do what you know. If you were like me, when I first started my weight loss journey, I only knew how to cook chicken with one type of seasoning. I only knew one marinade I enjoyed that flavored my fish. The only veggies I cooked were green beans and broccoli. Over time, my taste buds grew tired of the same flavors. To be honest, the food had little flavor because my knowledge of how to incorporate spices and herb was little to none. Unfortunately, I did what anyone would do when they wanted something good to eat after a long day of work. I drove to my favorite pizza spot or burger joint. The worst part about going back to these pleasurable foods is that it increased my hatred for bland, healthy foods even more. Growing up in my household, I was not the type of kid that hung around the kitchen and watched my mother cook dinner. I was either outside playing sports with friends or at football practice. Having little to no knowledge of how to cook limited my choices and hurt me when it was time for me to cook on my own. Cooking was very uncomfortable for me because I had little confidence in my abilities. When I was in college, I tried cooking a few meals, and it turned out to be horrible. My macaroni and cheese attempted was too creamy because I added too much milk. My ground turkey burgers was way overcooked. If I had to pinpoint the reasons why my attempts failed, it was due to the incorrect measurements. In college, I didn't own a measuring cup. I had to estimate the amount for a cup of a teaspoon or would measure a cup. And majority of the time, my food turned out tasting awful. As I said before, I was not a very detailed person and struggled with my cooking. After eating the same boring seasonings over and over again, I knew it was time for a change if I wanted to keep my excitement and focus. Remember, we don't quit or give up. We simply find another way or another route. The other route I chose in order to enjoy my healthy food was to ask others for guidance. We all separate ourselves with our strengths and weaknesses. I had a few family members and friends that were talented in the kitchen. I learned simple and quick ways to spice up my lean meats to improve the taste. The internet was another route I chose to follow. I found more ways in which to prepare my healthy menu. I am a visual learner, so being able to watch YouTube videos was a home run for me. One of my funniest moments learning how to cook was when I searched for new seasonings and spices. If you looked at my seasoning cupboard before I learned how to cook, you would have found salt, pepper, seasoned salt, and possibly garlic salt. The grocery shopping phase was not so pleasurable part of learning how to cook. My run to the grocery store was pathetic. During my college days, I spent less than 10 minutes strolling through the soda, chip, frozen dinner, and cereal aisles. Now that I had to find new items, I thought I felt like I was a kid in an Easter egg hunt. Walking through the same aisles over and over again boiled my blood. Over time, the treasure hunts for items became easier and easier. As time went on, I knew exactly where to find my seasonings and food items needed to cook my meals. Sometimes strangers asked me for help, and I would show them as I poked my chest out with confidence. Over the years, I learned to turn myself into a pretty good cook. Meal prepping is not so painful anymore, and I enjoy the taste of the food I prepare. Sometimes you must get out of your comfort zone to win on your fitness journey. Ask for help from others and feed off their strengths. If you do not have others to count on for help, look online for easy recipes. Once you build your confidence and your cooking abilities, I suggest you keep learning new ways to prepare your healthy meals. Over time, your menu choices will expand and you will enjoy your new lifestyle change of healthy eating. Pleasure through exercise. Many people who know me often hear me say that I have an attention deficit disorder when it comes to exercise. I often get bored quickly with exercise routines. I also didn't enjoy exercise in the gym for longer than 1 hour. During my 100-pound weight loss journey, I've taken off large chunks of weight by incorporating different styles of exercise training. Some of these includes CrossFit, weight training, road running, calisthenics, cardio, and high-intensity interval training. Every exercise style increased my excitement to exercise because it was something new and different. I recommend changing up your workout routine when needed if you see your motivation to exercise slowly disappearing. Changing your workout also helps to throw off the body from adapting to your routine. Now, I have to admit, during the first few months of my journey, I couldn't perform and didn't enjoy CrossFit exercises and road running. As I started to lose more weight and gain better cardio endurance, I was able to incorporate CrossFit and running. Being able to perform exercise I could never imagine myself previously completing was a major emotional accomplishment for me. The first time I ever completed my first pull-up was a game changer. Throughout college and the NFL, I could never do a full pull-up. In the weight room, I was strong and can easily bench press well over 400 pounds. My teammates were able to perform pull-ups, and I would just watch in awe. Pull-ups were just not an exercise for big, heavy guys. I remember my first pull-up like it was yesterday. I may have been 5 to 7 months into my weight loss journey, and I had already lost 60 to 70 pounds. In 2011, a friend of mine introduced me to the world of CrossFit. He raved about how fun it was and described the rush felt when completing one of the workouts. The only rush I received after workout in the past was a rush to lie down. So I took him on his offer to try one of his workouts. He emailed me the workout, and I noticed one of the exercises was, you guessed it, pull-ups. I knew for a fact that was one exercise I could not complete. I decided to complete the majority of the workout. I would just skip the pull-ups. During the workout, I enjoyed completing exercises for time because I was able to compete against myself. I finished all the exercises except the pull-ups. It seemed like the pull-up bar was looking at me, and I asked myself, who am I kidding? First, I didn't want to try to pull myself up and embarrass myself in front of the others in the gym. Second, I figured my body was so tired from the exercises I already done. There was no way I could do a pull-up. I slowly walked over to the pull-up bar and grabbed it with two hands. Since I was 6'7" I didn't have to jump like others because I was so tall. Once I had a good grip, I hung onto the bar with my knees bent so my feet would not touch the ground. My back muscles started to squeeze intensely as I started to pull myself up. I could not believe that I was actually doing this and reached my chin over the bar. I jumped off the bar, looking around to see if anybody was watching me. My smile went from ear to ear, and right then I knew my physical ability was changing before my eyes. To my surprise, after starting this journey, I began to enjoy running. Yes, I said running. As you learned earlier from my childhood and college days, running was my kryptonite. I would almost rather die or settle for being unhealthy if I was told the only way I could lose weight was by running. My routine for cardio was riding the elliptical or walking uphill on a treadmill. This suddenly changed when my younger brother Kevin introduced me to road running. Kevin enjoyed running outside, and I always told him he was insane. He invited me to go running with him many times, and I looked at him like he had lost his mind. One cool, windy day, I was lacing up my shoes before heading to the gym to work on the cardio machines. This typical light day for me was only about burning a few calories. Kevin stopped me at the front door before leaving and asked if I'll go running with him. He explained that we will only run 10 minutes one way and then turn around and come back. Around that time, I weighed just below 300 pounds. Thoughts of running during football conditions jumped into my head, and misery was written all over my face. I ultimately agreed to step out of my comfort zone and give it a try. We stepped outside, and I started my big man shuffle. The big man shuffle is when you trot instead of jog. The big man shuffle speed is between a power walk and a light jog. I continued my shuffle for the first 10 minutes. When we turned around, I noticed I was not as tired as I expected. I decided to turn my shuffle into a slightly faster jog, and it felt incredible. To be able to run and not be out of breath was a new and invigorating feeling for me. We returned home, and I sat down on the porch realizing what I just did. I could not believe I actually enjoyed the run and was planning on doing it again the next day. Road running helped me to lose another 30 pounds. I still enjoy running because it helps me to meditate and clear my mind. During your weight loss journey, you will also experience these times of enjoyment and accomplishment. To achieve these feelings, you must step out your comfort zone and try new things. You never know what activities may become a part of your new life. Journaling. What part of the process do you dislike the most? Nutrition or exercise? Number 2, what actions will you take to make the process much more enjoyable? Number 3, have you ever reached a proud moment with your physical progress through exercise? Number 4, what new exercise routine or concept will you try if you became bored with your exercise routine? Number 5, are you tired of eating the same boring food and need more options? Yes or no?